We're about to make some banana bread, just like everybody else this quarantine. I've seen every meme. I've been tagged in every meme, I think, so far that has had to do with banana bread. It seems to be the one thing that is unifying our nation right now is baking in general. Thank you. I like the color too. Baking in general, but like everybody is making banana bread right now. Jessie, hi. I miss you so much. I miss your lips so much. So, hi, Kristen. So, back to the banana bread. I used to own a bakery. Here's a little bit of backstory on me. I've had a whole lot of jobs in my day. I know, I look so young. Thank you guys for saying it. You didn't have to type it. I know you were thinking it. But I'm about to turn 39. And I've had a lot of jobs in my day. Oh, my bestie just joined. Hi, Kristen. And one of them was I owned a bakery for 10 years, and it was called Got What It Cakes. And I didn't make banana bread as part of my bakery, but I just hope it gives me a little bit of clout when I tell you that I at least know what I'm talking about when it comes to baking in general. And I know just like the basics about what makes things better and the tips and tricks that go behind like just great technique and things like that. So when it comes to banana bread, there are a few basics. You need to have really ripe bananas. Oh, before we jump into it too much, make sure that you've preheated your oven. So if you haven't done that yet, let's get your ovens to 350. Thank you, no older than 36. Get your ovens on 350. Pull 2 eggs out of the fridge. I want them to start to come to room temperature. So get your 2 eggs out of the fridge if you're baking along with me. Preheat your oven to 350. And there was something else I wrote down. Oh, and then we are going to be melting butter soon. So, but I'm really concerned about the eggs coming to room temp and preheat the oven to 350. And then when it comes to your bananas, I want them ripe. I don't know who told you that just like yellow bananas are okay for banana bread. They're not. But if right now, especially, you can only get, just regular bananas and you have a hankering, I'm in North Carolina. If you have a hankering for banana bread, then you can put your oven on 300, put the bananas on a tray, and you can roast them in the peel, and you can start to roast them. And once they turn that dark color, then you can use them that way. If you have frozen bananas, I see that question right now. If you have frozen bananas, then yes, you can pull them out and you can thaw them, but they need to be done in a strainer. And then you need to pat them really dry because all that extra liquid is not good for your banana bread. So just make sure that you get them nice and patted and strained and all that good stuff. So these were pretty close. I would say that they looked like this yesterday. And then knowing I had to do this today, I put them on the sheet tray last night, and I got them to this color at a 300-degree oven, and it only took about 5 to 7 minutes to get to this black color. So that's a nifty little trick for you, and we'll see what they look like when they're opened. I still would prefer if we would just let them ripen on their own for, a week or two. My favorite grocery store, Harris Teeter, sells bags of already ripened bananas, and I love that. I love when I can snag them, and they sell a bag of like 10 to 15 of them for 40 to 50 cents. So that's my favorite. But it's really hard to get in there right now and find those bags because everybody's buying them and making banana bread, and I think it's partly my fault. Like my blog post alone has almost 25,000 hits on the banana bread right now. Also, it's hard to find almond extract. I think that's also my fault. But that's okay. I say that humbly. So, without further ado, maybe we should just get into making the banana bread. I know. It's a blessing and a curse. Popular problems. All right. So, we have our ovens preheating to the 350 right now. We have our eggs on the counter coming to room temp. And we've talked about the bananas. Good. So, next thing that you're going to do, if you haven't pulled up my recipe, it is on my blog right now, which is just mirandaandcharlotte.com. So my name, Miranda, just like Miranda writes. Thank you so much. Miranda, Miranda, Nin, Charlotte.com. Okay? So mirandaandcharlotte.com, and then just type in banana. I'm going to pull it up. It was up on my computer, but then it timed out, so I have to relog back in. So just pull that up, type in banana into the search bar feature, and then you'll have my recipe right along with you right now, but I'll coach you through it all. So the next thing that you're going to do is you are going to take 1.5 sticks of butter, unsalted. Unsalted is really important, you guys, when you're baking. The reason being, if it's unsalted butter, then we can control the amount of salt that we add to a recipe with our table salt versus however much salt they put in the butter, because we don't know manufacturer to manufacturer how much salt that they are putting in the butter itself. Whereas if we do unsalted butter, we know that we can control the salt in the ingredient itself in the recipe. So that's why we use unsalted butter in baking recipes. So you're gonna go ahead and melt that. I always start at a minute if the butter is cold, coming straight out of the fridge. So we're just gonna melt that for a minute. Also, let's talk about butter. A lot of people ask me, can I use sweet cream butter? Is that the same as regular butter? It is. Butter is just cream beaten until it is hard. That's it. So like heavy cream that you whip, you might notice when you're making whipped cream, if you beat it too much and it starts to harden, if you were to take that until it hardens all the way, that's butter. Yeah. So it goes cream, liquid cream, to whipping cream, to like butter. So yes, sweet cream butter is butter. Okay, so because my butter was hard, it did take the full minute to melt it all the way, but look, it's steaming. We do not want this butter to be steaming when we add the eggs to it. Why? Because the eggs will scramble in this hot butter. So I am going to take this melted butter and I am going to put it in my fridge. Sorry, this is really hard to do with one hand while I hold the phone. Okay, so the melted butter is now in my fridge. Yes, everything in my kitchen sings. I know, I'm proud of you for knowing the answer, Miranda. Everything in my kitchen sings, you guys. My oven sings, you will hear that. My microwave sings. My dishwasher sings. Everything in this kitchen sings. It is so obnoxious. It's so obnoxious. I don't know what's happening here. I don't know what's happening in this kitchen. I don't know if it's because the appliances are new or what's happening. I'm just glad that they all work. Because if you followed me for long enough and you saw the building of this kitchen, you know the S show that I had with these appliances getting delivered and all being broken. It's great. Oh, the egg cooker sings too. Yes, everything Everything sings. Everything sings. So our butter, what we want it to do is we want it to cool down, but we do not need it to reharden. Obviously, that wouldn't make any sense. Why would we melt butter just to have it reharden? So we don't want that to happen, but we do want it to cool down. While that is happening, we can start to beat our bananas with our sugar to make our banana cream. So that's what's going to happen right now. So I'm going to go ahead and clip the phone into my stand, whatever it's called. I'm going to flip it around, get up on my little stool because I'm 5'2" and I can't see anything when I'm not on a stool. So fun fact. Clip. That's a Housewives Dorinda thing, if any of y'all are fans. Okay, switching this around. So, get that in there. Have it right above the bowl. All right. So, we're going to get our bananas in here. And there's 1 and 2. Yeah, I mean, the roasting trick definitely makes them look browner on the outside. They're still not nearly as soft as I would like them to be if they were traditionally, ripening on a countertop. Maybe I didn't leave them in for long enough, but this is what I want to see. This. So maybe I should have left them in, but I still stand by the fact that ideally try to let your bananas ripen as long as possible. The good old-fashioned way. Forget about them on the counter. So what we want to do is oh, my Aunt Jenny joined, and my Aunt Erin. I have like 20 aunts, but I'm still really happy when even 1/10 of them join. Okay, so you're wanting to, that was a cup of sugar and 4 to 5 bananas. Hey, and you're wanting to put this on, I have it on a 6 on my KitchenAid. I get asked the question all the time. Hey, Aunt Jenny. Hey, Aunt Erin. I get asked all the time if you can use a hand mixer, if you have to use a KitchenAid. You absolutely can use either. I just use a KitchenAid because I have it. And this is the same KitchenAid that started my entire caking career and business. I got this forever ago, and I took it to the bakery when I opened my storefront, and when I closed the bakery, I sold all of my assets to Cupcake Delirium, and I carried this back out with me under my arm, and I said, this is the one thing that's coming with me, and it's just super symbolic to me. So I've had it forever, and like, this will go in my will to one of my kids. It's very special to me. Hi, aunts. Oh, that's cute. I love when y'all converse back and forth. Okay, so this is on about a 6 is what I said. So like medium high. And what you want is you want this mixture to turn into what I call a banana cream. So you'll start to see bubbles form. If you're hand mixing, same thing. Put it on about a medium high speed. While this is mixing, it's the perfect time to get our dry ingredients pulled together. Oh, y'all, we forgot to roast the nuts. Well, I forgot to roast the nuts. Y'all did not. Yes, best gift, right? See, everybody thinks, oh, you don't need a stand mixer. Yeah, you don't need it, but once you have it, you realize that you'll use it. So I'm going to move this back. And I forgot to roast the daggone nuts, y'all. All you need to do, ooh, that was loud. All you need to do, spread your nuts on the tray. Just, a thin layer. pop these in the 350 oven for about 5 to 7 minutes. I highly suggest setting a timer. I never do. I just use my nose. I know, there really is never going back once you have one. I agree. You think, oh, well, will I really use it? Will I really use it? You just do. Because then things can be going in it, like I said, while I'm doing something else. Whereas if you're using a hand mixer, you're caught up with this and you have to keep stopping to do all the other sections. Nah, I can be doing other things. I agree. Okay, so the nuts are going, that's going. I'm gonna pull the dry ingredients together. So you're gonna do 2 cups of flour. All right, and when you measure flour, you know, have a big container of it. Get a measuring scoop in there, toss it around a few times, wake it up a bit, and then you're gonna take the back of the knife and you're gonna level it off. Okay? And then pour it in your bowl. Put it back in, wake it up a few times, get the back of your knife, scrape it off, put it in. This is all-purpose flour. Flour makes a difference. There's lots of different kinds. Read your instructions carefully. All right, then we have half a teaspoon each. Half a teaspoon each. Read your manual. Apparently KitchenAids are not happy with King Arthur flour. Oh, why aren't they happy with King Arthur? What happened? Do tell. All right, we have baking soda, and as my Aunt Erin, Aunt Jenny, and I, and my grandmother all discussed yesterday on the phone, baking soda and baking powder, which we all knew are different. Baking soda is saltier than baking powder. So if you have those two things in your cabinet just in containers and you're confused as to which one is which, just taste them, and the baking soda is saltier than the powder. Now you know. So half a teaspoon of soda, then salt. Now only measure over your container if you're super brave. If you think that you don't have a steady hand, don't do it. In case you pour way too much, you can't go scooping it back out. And then here's one of my not secret ingredients, but it makes all the difference in the world, I think, the cinnamon. Such a depth of flavor. And you can be generous. I like a bit of a rounded scoop of the cinnamon. And I like to whisk it or mix it with a fork. I just think it adds a little bit of lightness to the flour and to the recipe as a whole. Again, I'll do it with a fork or a whisk, but I'm not going to sift this. I'm absolutely not going to do that added step. Oh, it destroyed the ball bearings. Who knew? Okay. Well, listen, I am too cheap for King Arthur flour, so I was never going to have to worry about that. I'm a generic kind of girl when it comes to flour. I'm usually buying Harris Teeter brand. Okay, so there are my dry ingredients. Okay, let's pull forward our banana cream and check that out. See what that's looking like there? See how we have bubbles starting to form, y'all? Let's lift that up. Do you see closely? See these bubbles down in there on the side and on the top? Mommy likey. I'm gonna try to get this out without disturbing them. But do you see those bubbles? That's what we're looking for. That's what I mean by banana cream. I think I need to add that to my recipe. I need to say bubbles. I don't think I've said that in there. Okay? All right, let me go look at the butter in the fridge and also check on my nuts. Okay, starting to smell them. They don't have enough color on it for me, so I'm gonna keep them in there. All right. Okay. Can y'all hear me when I'm shouting from the other end of my kitchen? The butter feels great now. All right, so I'm gonna push the banana cream back. Got a little stuck on my counter. Okay, so all you have to do, just kind of circle that butter around, stick your finger in it. Perfect. It is certainly not hot at all anymore. You can feel underneath it with your hand. It's warm, but not hot at all. Not hot at all. Okay, we can always hear you. Okay, I see you, Aunt Erin. Thank you. The nuts are starting to smell toasty, but they don't have any additional color on them, so I'm gonna let them, that's right, cheerleader voice. So I'm gonna let them go about 2 more minutes, which will give me the time now to go ahead and take my eggs. Those eggs that we pulled out, they're not totally to room temp yet, but that's okay because my butter is not too hot anymore, so I'm not concerned about them scrambling these, even though they're not perfectly to room temp. That was just my big concern there. But ideally, if we can get this to room temp and these to room temp, then I never am concerned about the scramble. So we'll go ahead and and lastly, if you're not great at cracking your eggs and you're worried about shells, do these in a separate glass bowl and then add them in. But I'm not worried about that because I've, cracked about 78,000 in my life. So I'll go ahead and add those in. And then we're gonna do the teaspoon of vanilla. 1 teaspoon of vanilla here. All right, and then the almond extract. We're gonna do the almond extract here. Let's talk about the almond extract, y'all. This just adds a little bit of nutty flavor, especially for the people who don't want to add nuts to their banana bread, even though it's so much better with nuts. And if you're anti-nut, please try it with them toasted. Toasting the nuts brings out all the flavor of the nut. It makes it so much better, adds that little bit of crunch, which it definitely needs. Speaking of nuts, I'm going to check on mine again. There they are. Now they're right. Okay, I'm happy with my nuts. I just pulled them out. How many times can I say happy with my nuts? Drink. So if you'll just toast them first, they'll taste a lot better. And I like that added crunch to the bread that they give. So please try them at least that way before you just say, I hate them, because I guarantee you might start to like them. Then, when it comes to almond extract, I get the question about allergies often, but you don't have to worry about it, especially with McCormick. All of their extracts are made in a nut-free facility. So even if it says pure almond extract or especially imitation almond extract, neither of these are ever made with real almonds. It would cost them a fortune because almonds are super expensive to extract an almond flavoring from almonds to make this much extract. So they actually pull it from apricot pits because they emit the same flavor, but at a much, much lower cost. So this will not have an allergy problem, okay? You will not have an allergy problem if you're allergic to almonds. Don't worry about it. So you can safely use this. It's straight from McCormick's site, but I had to do a ton of research about nuts when I had the bakery because I got questions like that all the time. So if that was something you were worried about, you can just not worry about it anymore. Okay. Any questions about that? Great. And yes, I did see that part where, of course, you can put the eggs in warm water if you want to have them come to room temperature faster if you'd like to. That is always an option. I just tend to try to pull them out. When I had the bakery, we just always had eggs kind of sitting on our countertop. We'd pull them out at the beginning of the day for prep. And so we never had to really think about it or worry about it. And that's kind of how I'll bake in a batch day, is I'll just pull things out. I'll have my butter sitting out, my eggs sitting out, and everything will just kind of come to room temp at one time. So I never have to think about it, but I have to remember that not everybody bakes in a like bulk mentality or in a like baker's mentality like I do like that, but that's a great tip. Okay, so I've just whisked those eggs and the butter together. I'm gonna pull my banana cream back down. We're going to turn that mixer back on. We're going to stream that egg, butter, extract mixture all the way back in. I am going to get my spatula. Oh my gosh, Miranda, I'm going over on top. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's going in. I would usually be stopping to scrape. I know, they're never refrigerated in Europe. Am I good? Okay. I know, aren't these such interesting facts, y'all? It's amazing how much I had to research and learn for when I owned the bakery. I would have never known about so much about apricot pits if it wasn't part of my job. But once you think about it, it's true. Because, I mean, how much is even just like a bag of almonds that is this, this big? So pricey. So you think about a jar this big of almond extract and you go, there's no way it's $2. No way. So they had to find a way to make it affordable. Well, apricot pits taste the same. I guess. Who knew? Okay, so you mix that together. And since Miranda told me I can keep going, I can keep going. She gets to tell me what to do. Alrighty. Just kind of scraping down, and you can see these kind of banana pieces up on the whisk. That's fine. All right, now we have to turn it down to the 1 or 2, depending on what you're using. Get the flour, dry mixture in there. You know you're a pro when you can get around that whisk without touching it once. All right, kick it up. You don't have to refrigerate eggs until they are washed. Eggs fresh from chickens. Yes. Well, I only get mine from the grocery store because I don't have any chickens nearby to give me their fresh eggs. I'm a little too city for that. Although Jake and Paige, who just made my banana bread, they get theirs straight from their chickens. So theirs had not been refrigerated. And then June, their daughter, made sure to say a couple times, they still have poop on their eggs. I'm like, thanks, girl. All right, so that's it. Once you add the flour and dry ingredients, it does not need to go for long. Do not overmix. That's good. Let's push this back once again. So that's what that'll look like. And then I have the nuts right here. And I'm just going to drop them in. A couple handfuls. I think I said 3/4 cup in my recipe. There, really, it's up to personal preference here. We like a nut. I'm really trying hard not to do it. That's what she said, y'all, but we're massive Office fans, and I'm just not mature enough. I apologize, Miranda. I really do. And then you just fold the nuts in, and that is the batter. I know, doesn't the cinnamon smell so good? Hey, Katrina. Hey, boss. Fold, don't mix. Or Miranda yells, no, does. That's right. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to fold technically, y'all. I'm not going to be that high maintenance here. But we did whip, and we do have some nice air going in there. So, you know, try your best. Okay, now I'm going to move this. We're going to spray the pan. This is my favorite pan spray. I get it from Restaurant Depot. But Baker's Joy is the next best thing. And here's the holy grail of loaf pans. I really prefer a metal pan, y'all. Calphalon has the best in my humble opinion. So please stop baking your bread loaves in glass pans or stoneware. Please just get a good metal pan. They bake way more evenly. And then let's talk about spraying the pan. Like, let's actually spray it. If we're going to spray it, let's get some spray on there so it'll come out. Cover it. None of this like that. Can't stand it. Don't know why you do it that way. Let's stop. Let's get it sprayed. Okay? And then let's get our batter in there. People always think, oh my gosh, it's so much batter. It's gonna rise. It's gonna spill over. No, it's not. It's not gonna. That's not what bread tends to do. You're gonna be fine. There is not that much as far as the leavening ingredients are concerned in here. You're gonna be a-okay. We're gonna get every last drop out of here. And then I think it took a little too much pan spray in. That was karma for being snarky. Okay, I see you. Let's get off of this. Y'all, somebody the other day said that they eat this batter. I said, absolutely not. My gagger cannot handle the thought of that. Whew, I don't know. Does somebody else lick this batter? Can't stand the thought of it. It's this spray. I don't think that it actually, let's see, water, soy, no, it does not have flour in it. It just, the way it goes on is super thick. I don't know. It's just really good pan spray, but it's from like a restaurant store. So it's the good stuff. But that's why I like Baker's Joy, because it's real good too. But you can find that at the regular grocery or wherever, you know. Okay, so here's our pan. Goes in the oven, like middle to middle high rack. Also, let's talk, it has to go on bake, not convection bake. Bake is important, not convection bake. So I'm gonna go put it in at 350. Keep your oven temp the same as it was for the nuts. I'm gonna actually show y'all what rack it is on mine. Hold a moment, taking this off the clip. Okay, whoa, that's my face. It's on this rack, like it's that high up to the bulb. That's really terrible lighting. That one, that's the rack it's on. And then 350, and it's on bake, not convection bake. And I've had a few people ask me about that, and convection bake will just burn the crap out of your stuff. Because convection bake is meant to bake, like it has a fan that pushes the heat out faster, and it therefore will heat one spot in specific very quickly. And for whatever reason, it just creates a very like uneven, it's meant to heat more evenly like all the way around, but it doesn't. It ends up not doing that, and it does not create an even bake at all, and it tends to heat the outside really quickly and not the inside at all. And that is already what a lot of people experience as a problem with a loaf of bread, specifically banana bread already as a whole. So bake is the way to go. Bake is trying to keep your oven at one temperature throughout the whole time, and it gives your banana bread a much better chance. Hi, honey. So bake is the way to go. And that's why recipes say bake at 350. They don't say convection bake at 350. Like it would specifically say, that's why, I mean, you'll see on a recipe that it says broil on high at, or, for blah, blah, blah. Right? So if the recipe says bake at da 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 da, it truly does want you to put it on bake. It would say convection bake. So just do the recipe as written. That's my motto all the time. So now let's real quick, before I have to lose y'all, when it comes to checking this bread, in about 50 minutes, I want you to open up that oven, and you're going to take, hopefully, you have a long skewer, like something that you would use for, say, a shish kebab. I want you to take this, and I want you to go into that bread in a few different places. I want you to poke it all the way through down to the bottom of that pan, and you're going to be venting the bread. That's the best way I can describe it. Just poking holes all the way through. You're not checking for doneness because we know it's not going to be done, but you're just going to be venting it. And that's going to create just these pockets of holes that are still going to be filled right back in, because there's going to be plenty of growth back inside that bread. It's going to fill right back in the holes, but it's just going to vent it a little bit, and the heat's going to be able to get right back in there. And then in about 20 more minutes, you're going to check the bread, not with the same skewer because it's going to be all wet, but with a different dry skewer. You're going to check right in the center of the bread, all the way down to the bottom again, and you're going to see if it's done. And if it's not, if this doesn't come out totally dry, then it's not done. And in like 5 to 7 more minutes, you're going to check it again in a different spot, but as close to the center as possible, all the way down again to the bottom, and see if it's done. And I'm telling you what, I know you're going to think that it is not done, or that it is. You're going to think, oh, it's getting too done on top, or is it getting too brown? But if that stick doesn't come out clean, it's not done. And you're going to have soggy banana bread, and that's disgusting. Okay? So we didn't just do all of this to have disgusting soggy banana bread. We did it to have perfectly cooked, delicious banana bread. And I would never steer y'all wrong. I would never do that to you. Okay? Sorry, I really needed a sip. So, do you have any questions about how to check for the doneness of your banana bread, or the next step here? Because I really want success for your loaf. Or any questions at all, really, about baking or banana bread in general. Because I'm here to help during these baking times. Because if not, I think that's it. So much goodness here. Thanks for the great tips. You're so welcome. I'm glad that you joined. If you did make this along with me, please tag me. I'm Miranda, INCLT, here on Instagram. I would love to see your finished products. I'm going to do afternoon tea for dinner. Great. I love that. I want to do afternoon tea for dinner. I love all things British. So that's right up my alley. And then follow me, please. Also, if you, seriously though, when it comes to pulling the bread out and checking it and everything, I do have a banana bread highlight bubble over on my page, Miranda NCLT, banana bread highlight bubble, and it talks all about it, and you can watch me like checking mine, and I'll be doing this loaf too today over on my story, so we can be doing it in live time together, so we can still continue on this journey just over on Miranda NCLT. So you know, you can troubleshoot anything with me, just DM me. Okay. All right, well, I think that's it. Miranda, the whole Mom 2.0 team, thank you for having me. And seriously, come over, ask me any questions. I'm happy to help. Thanks for having me.